The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen. Chapter 1. First story, which treats of mirror and of splinters. Now then, let us begin. When we are at the end of our story, we shall know more than we know now. But to begin. Once upon a time, there was a wicked sprite. Indeed, he was the most mischievous of all the sprites. One day, he was in very good humor, for he had made a mirror with the power of causing all that was good and beautiful to reflect there within, to look poor and mean. But that which was good for nothing and looked ugly was shown magnified and increased in its ugliness. In this mirror, the most beautiful landscape looked like boiled spinach, and the best persons were turned into or appeared to stand on their heads. Their faces looked so distorted that they were not to be recognized. If anyone had a mole, you might be sure that it would be magnified and spread upon both the nose and the mouth.
"What glorious fun!"
said the sprite. If a good thought passed through a man's mind, then a grin was seen in the mirror, and the sprite laughed heartily at his clever discovery. All the little sprites who went to his school, for he kept a sprite school, told each other the miracle that had happened, and now, only as a thought, it would be possible to see how the world really looked. They ran about with the mirror, and at last there was not a land or a person that was not represented distorted in the mirror. So then they thought they would fly up into the sky and have a joke there. The higher they flew with the mirror, the more terribly it grinned. They could hardly hold it fast. Higher and higher still they flew, nearer and nearer to the stars, when suddenly the mirror shook, so terrible with grinning that it flew out of their hands and fell down to the earth. And it was dashed into 100,000,000 and more pieces. And now it looked so much more evil than before. For some of those pieces were hardly so large as a grain of sand, and they flew about the wind world. And when they got into people's eyes, there they stayed. And then when people saw everything perverted, for they only had an eye for which was evil. This happened because the very smallest bit had the same power which the mirror whole was possessed. Some persons even got a splinter in their heart. The fine splinters still flew about the air, and now we shall hear next what had happened. You've been listening to the Improv 2 Saga. Thank you, and have a great night.